The world Shaka kaSenzangakhona entered was one of fragmented clans, set against the vast,
uncompromising landscape of southern Africa. Born to shame and exiled from his father's tribe, his youth was marked by persecution and isolation. His only refuge was his mother, Nandi, a bond that would shape his genius and ultimately his madness. The bullied youth grew into a formidable man, forging his body and his will into a weapon.
His exile ended when he found mentorship under Dingiswayo, leader of the Mthethwa, where his military career began.
Restless with traditional warfare, Shaka created the Iklwa, a short, deadly stabbing spear designed for face-to-face combat. He abolished sandals, demanded brutal training, and instilled absolute discipline, forging an army like no other.
The bullhorn formation was his tactical masterpiece. Swift flanks to encircle, a chest to hold the center, and a reserve in the loins.
He organized his men by age, quartering them in massive military barracks, creating a professional, standing army. Shaka's ruthlessness and strategy were decisive, crushing all resistance in the great battles against his chief rival, Zwide.
Victory was total. The shattered clans were given a terrible choice: annihilation or integration into the Zulu state.
He consolidated his power in KwaBulawayo, creating a centralized, militaristic monarchy that dominated the landscape. Promotion was based on merit, not birthright. Only the fiercest and most disciplined earned the right to marry and settle. By 1824, Shaka ruled an empire that stretched across a vast region, held together by fear and awe. The king was now a legend, Ilembe, the axe that cuts the head of other axes, ruler of 250,000 people.
Then came the white men. Shaka cautiously engaged the British traders, intrigued by their technology but unimpressed by their strength.
He treated the foreigners as novelties, allowing them to remain on his land only at his express pleasure.
The turbulence of his empire sparked the Mfekai, a period of devastating warfare and migration that destabilized the entire region. In times of peace, the kingdom thrived, as royal gatherings shone with color, power, and a spirit of unity.
The price of empire was paranoia, as Shaka's vast spy network crushed dissent with swift and brutal force.
Zulu wealth was counted in cattle, the vital element that sustained his armies and symbolized the power of the king.
The king was ultimately alone, bound by the creation he had unleashed upon the land. But a storm was gathering, not in the skies, but in the heart of the great warrior.
He ordered a year of no planting, no milk, and the execution of thousands for insufficient mourning. The kingdom suffered. His erratic rule and endless wars pushed his inner circle to the breaking point, led by his half-brothers, Dingane and Mhlangana.
The plot was simple. They would seize their chance when Shaka's army was away on campaign. On September 22, 1828, the king walked unaccompanied through the royal kraal.
In the end, Shaka was betrayed and killed by his own brothers, bringing the reign of the great warrior to a tragic close.
His final words, if true, were a prophecy of the coming struggle. You think you will rule, but the swallows will come.
Shaka's reign was short, but his nation-building and military genius secured a powerful Zulu identity that endured long after his death.